of my God and my family in the fall of 2018.
Let's see.
I will continue my basketball journey as.
We're back with another episode of the Clipboard. No, I didn't say yours. Relax. Relax. I'm one half of your podcast backcourt, Coach Chuck, and to my left.
It's your boy T-Rob, a.k.a. Coach Rel, and we're back.
You saw him look at me. I don't want to say that, man. I don't know if you feel my energy through the camera, but I'm ready to pod today. You ready to pod?
Yeah.
You feel me? Now, before we even get into what we get into, I just want to know how you would guard and your favorite player, Shaq. I don't understand that explains a lot.
What does that explain? Does I like Shaq?
Nah, if we get in these topics, he just be backing down like Shaq in the post. I don't understand
what
it.
What are
like,
you talking about?
Listen, man.
I like Shaq. I like Jordan. I like
no. But your favorite player is Shaq, though.
You don't know who my favorite player is.
You told me.
No, he was one of my favorite players. Yes. I'm sorry, he was better than a lot of people. He's dominant. He dominate the game. I like people that dominate.
No, I like him because he from Jersey. He from Newark. That's why. Oh no, wait. Hey, listen, another thing. I told him I was coming in here. I'm ready to pod. Names. You hear me?
You see what I'm repping?
Because ever since Elias came on the podcast, now he want to rep Irvington. He ain't wear that shirt
Irvington
all year.
I didn't wear.
He didn't wear that shirt
on the show 5 episodes.
And then every time I hear we are Irvington.
No, because y'all be coming for Irvington, so I gotta let you know.
Who is y'all? I've never said nothing about Irvington.
Y'all be coming for Irvington, so I gotta let y'all know what it is.
Let's do the facts. Elijah Hyatt was the only person that said something about Irvington. I don't care about Irvington.
You too.
No, whatever, man. Why do I care about Irvington?
I don't know.
Man, he never did nothing to me.
You see the hat too. I'm an Irvington vet. You feel me?
He went to Benix. Benix in Newark.
Okay.
Irvington veteran went to Irvington High. You hear me? All right, like I said, we ready for.
I'm sorry. My mom wanted me to get an education from a higher power.
Hey, don't Irvington got a STEM program like for kids with good grades or something like that?
What, to go to Bloomfield Tech?
Man, you should have did that. You should have
did that. Man, I'm good with that.
Listen, man. All right, so this
Courtney over there, man. Courtney was like rivals back then. We couldn't work together in the backcourt.
What?
We wouldn't be able to work together in the backcourt. Me and Courtney.
What? I'm gonna get into you. We gonna get into you about this, right? Because like we talk about rivals, man. I ain't gonna say no names, but we was playing ball one day in the men's league. I dropped somebody. He was on my team when I dropped him, right? Oh. Next season, we not on the same team.
People to call.
Wait, no, let me get the story out. Next season, we not on the same team. Old boy talking shit to me. I say, yo, you don't remember when we played and I hit you with and I dropped you? I'm like, man, hey, T-Rob was on there. He's like, well, I don't remember. We on the same team. Then he gonna come to me, yo, I just want to win a championship. I didn't want to start no trouble.
Listen, man. It's a business, man.
Man, whatever, man. Hey, we're going to call a couple of players from New Jersey today, high school players who are graduating this year who have committed to college. So I think this is good. You know, we've had coaches, we've had people who played overseas, college players. Now we're going to talk to the youth who are getting ready to transition into college. And I had the opportunity to coach a couple of these guys, and we're going to go ahead and call our first guest. Hey, don't grill my man too hard. He told me he's a little nervous. He never did no public speaking, nothing like that. So,
oh, yeah, we put him on the hot seat.
All right, there we go. Let me put that there.
So if a dude tween behind the back, step back, skip through the lane, what you going to do?
Hello?
Oh, you answered the phone. You know there's a coach, right? You tried to sound sexy when you answered the phone. This is a coach. Hey, listen. So before you talk, Danny, I'm gonna give you a little introduction. You know what I mean? This is one of my former players. He played with me at Bloomfield Tech.
Whoa. You gonna gas him up?
I'm gonna gas him up a little bit, a tad bit. He played with me at Bloomfield Tech, played at Payne Tech, just committed to Felician University. Mm-hmm. He also led the state in blocks per game. And at 6'5", what? No, you about 6'6" now, right?
Yeah, 6'6".
6'6", he led the state in blocks per game. I got my guy, Danny O, on the line. How you doing, Danny?
What's good with y'all? What's going good?
Yeah.
You want to ask first question? You want me to just...
I'll let you do the honor, sir.
Okay, so Danny, man, I've known you since you came from the charter school and you was a little pup, you little skinny kid with a lot of potential, right? So now you committed to Felician. What I want to know is how was your recruiting process? Like how many schools were recruiting you and what ultimately led to the decision to you to commit to Felician?
Well, with my recruiting process, like, to be honest, school started coming like a little late, you know what I'm saying? Like they started coming towards like my senior year. I didn't really have that many and everything. So I would say like the first couple schools that started recruiting me was like the summer after junior year when I started playing for the Panthers. Okay. That's when started recruiting me. So, you know, I had a couple like local D3s like Ramapo, Rutgers, Newark, and all of that. So I picked up my first offer. I think towards the beginning of the season, to the beginning of my senior year. So I think it was the game. I think it was a Central game when I picked up my first offer.
Okay.
So now,
what school was that?
Yeah, so Felicia was my first offer.
Oh, Felicia. Okay.
Yeah, after that, I picked up 2 more offers. I think like the second offer came like a month later, and the third offer came like a week later. So the second offer was from GCU. Jordan Court, and the third offer was from Nyack in New York.
Okay.
So yeah, ultimately what made me choose Felician, first of all, it was a full scholarship.
Okay.
And I feel like it was a more, comfortable environment for me.
Okay.
Really my last 2 options came down to Rutgers, Newark, and Felician, but after consideration, talking to some coaches, my family, I just decided that Felician would be the better option for me.
That's really interesting that you said Rutgers Newark was your second option. So Rutgers Newark's not a scholarship level school. So you would have went against Georgian Court and Nyack to go to Rutgers Newark?
Yeah, because the reason why I really liked Newark was because the system, I felt like I could really fit into their system, because I went to a lot of their games this past season, and watching their team, I felt as if I could fit in really nice with them.
And I don't really think you realize how smart you sound right now, because that's something that a lot of players fall victim to, is they're rather go to the school with the scholarship just to say they have a scholarship, but they might not play at all. They might not fit the system. The coach might not be comfortable with the coach, but they're going to take the scholarship. Whereas you were going to go somewhere where you felt comfortable, where you thought you were going to play a lot. And, that matters, even regardless of the level. I wouldn't care if it's a Division I school and you decided to go D2. You got to do what's best for you as a person, because basketball is a sport, but you still got to live your life. So you got to go get an education. You never know what'll happen. So first off as a person, second off as a player, and then you said you like the environment. So that means to me that you actually sat down and you really thought about the process and what was best for you, and not just the look.
That also tells me too, you got some good people in your corner. Most people have yes men that just want to push them to the highest level possible. But it seems like you have the right people in your corner that's telling you to go. That's where it's best for you, not just so you can say I went to this school or that school, I have a scholarship or not. They're going to a place that's going to be best for you.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Coach Tuck, those people in my corner.
Yeah, so I'll thank you, Danny, and somebody give me some type of credit. No, but
got your flowers. I got
when you said you were speaking to some coaches, and I know I was one of the coaches that you called, and I just tried to give you honest input, because I remember you coming to Bloomfield Tech as a sophomore, and you had a lot of potential. But I remember when you came from the charter school, and we was talking about your charter school playing Bloomfield Tech, and you was a little naive. You thought you could compete, right? You thought the charter school could compete. But I'm happy to see your growth from sophomore year to now, because even sophomore year you were a little irresponsible, didn't want to take accountability for anything, and even leading forward to this year, I wasn't on a coaching staff at Payne Tech, but you would call me and say, listen, man, I'm trying to be more of a leader. Can you help me? What do I need to do to get the team on one accord? And that's just growth. So, I don't really want to take any credit from you. That's just you growing as a person, right? Felician, they're getting a lot of Essex County players the last couple of years, and I think that may make you feel a little more comfortable just knowing some of the players, and even being more comfortable. Yeah, former teammate and Kyan Chapman. It's a little different if you were to go to a school, let's say in Georgia, and you don't know anybody, right? Yeah. Now, this is one thing I'm gonna ask you. You know these players. You played against them since your sophomore year. Let's say freshman year. I don't know who the charter school played, right? You've played against some of these players since your freshman year. They're friends. What do you think is going to separate you from the rest of the players that are on Felician, ultimately leading you to get some playing time?
Really, to me, it's all about work ethic. Who's going to put in the work, to earn that amount of playing time. Because, we all friends and everything, but at the end of the day, you got to work hard. Prove yourself. You gotta show why you need to be on the court. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it all comes down to, how hard you're willing to work. And that's something like I've always been instilled in me. Like, as long as you work hard, you're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. I got a follow-up question for that. Everything's kind of shut down now with the COVID-19 pandemic. And you talk about your work ethic. What have you been doing since you can't really get into a gym like that to stay in shape and get ready for the college environment?
A big shout out to Coach Anwar. He helped me get out the house. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm not with him, like I'm always in the house, doing workouts, doing some, full body, no equipment workouts. Always got to make sure I'm eating right. Because it's like I'm going to college and not high school no more, so I got to make sure my body's right.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Well, Danny, I want to say thank you for allowing us to interview. I know you said you was a little nervous.
Wait. Before we let you go,
don't cut me off.
No, I had to.
Go ahead.
So your season ended by losing to a certain school. All right, how do you feel about that? You guys lost to my hometown team, Irvington. How did that make you feel?
That one hurt. It's actually crazy because my first game with Bloomfield Tech, my first game was actually against Irvington.
Yeah. And wait. Your first game was against Irvington when you played for Bloomfield Tech. What happened in that game? Did we win?
You said, did I play?
No. I said, did we beat Irvington that game?
Oh yeah, we beat them.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, I want to thank you.
Had to get that in there. You feel me?
I want to thank you for allowing us to interview.
Yeah, they had to send a young boy home, man. That's cool.
That's fine. But you had a hell of a career.
No, definitely.
Like I said, I'm happy for your growth on the court and actually off the court. I mean, we had when your grades dropped that year, and I had to pull you in the locker room and really, curse you out, and you graduated. You're a qualifier, and you're going to college. So I want to say congratulations, salute to you. And even in college, you ask Kayan and all of them, you can still call, reach out to me, whatever you need. I'm still here. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
No problem. Again, congratulations, man. Go on to Felician and do bigger and better things than what you did in high school.
Thank you so much.
All right. You see how he tried to back my young boy in the corner?
I had to, man. I had to throw a little jab in there.
You sort of had to do, man. I had to come and get my boy out the fire real quick. You know what I mean?
Man.
But that, to me, before, like, his sophomore year, he might have laughed.
Yeah.
He might be like, yeah, it hurt. But he even was smart enough to go back to his first game with us, and we played Irvington. And like Elias,
tell he's matured a lot.
Yeah, definitely matured. And shout out to Irvington. We joke around. Even Elias told. I think I've coached against Elias maybe 6 to 8 times.
Yeah.
Probably 6 in 3 years, and I think we might be 3-3, or we might be 4-2 against them, or something like that. All right, we're gonna call our next guest, who's actually gonna be a teammate of Danny next year at Felician. Let me before we do this. All right,
Hey, what's going on?
What's good?
So I got another guest on the phone. I don't know if you watched the show, but what we do is we gas our guest up. We just go out there and we start talk about some of the accolades that they had. So I'm gonna go ahead and gas you up, okay?
Gas them up.
That's good.
4-time Christmas tournament winner. Essex County Christmas tournament. 3-time. Wait, is it 3-time state champion?
No. Two times.
2-time state champion. 3-year starter, right?
4.
Oh, excuse me, my fault. 4-year starter at one of the most. How do I describe this school? Probably the best. Decorated, but probably right now the best public school in Newark East Side when it comes to basketball. I got Micah Johnson on the phone. What's going on, Micah?
What's good, everybody? What's good?
What's going on?
All right, so I told you what the call was going to be, but for the listeners, we just want to let go into your recruiting process. How many schools were recruiting you, and then what ultimately led to you going to Felician?
Everybody know I've been committed to Monmouth like a year ago, and then all this Corona happened, and then it kind of just blew everything up, couldn't do the SHA and stuff like that. Then I opened my recruitment back up, and I had a lot of schools call me, D1s, D2s, prep schools, junior colleges. A lot of schools was calling me, asking me, talking to me about stuff like that. And of course, I had Nas went to Eastside, now at Felician, he kind of like, we kind of was talking, and then, of course, he had to say, talking about come to Felician when we do it again, from Eastside, but ultimately he was just telling me, like, don't let nobody sell you a dream they can't, like, own up to it. Like, obviously the colleges, they say they want you, so you gotta like understand what they saying, take it in, and just make a decision from there. And then that's when I just decided to make that decision to go to Felician.
Okay, so I coached against you. I think we played Eastside maybe 3 times at when I was coaching at Bloomfield Tech and / Payne Tech, and so I know your game a lot. And I'm gonna be the first to tell you, because I'm not one of the people who talk about kids behind their back or whatever the case may be. I'll tell you, I keep it 100 with you. I honestly think that you going to Felician is a better decision than the Monmouth one. Reason being, a lot of kids, they get sold the dream of Division I, where they may go play 5 to 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Felician. I honestly see you can go to Felician and play 20 to 25 minutes and build a career to whereas at the end of your career, you probably can go overseas and earn money playing basketball. So I don't think that, I want to tell you personally, don't take the whatever happened with the Monmouth situation and you going to Felician. I know a lot of people may say, oh, well, he fell off or they fell back or whatever the case may be. Don't take it, but actually take it personal.
Yep.
Take it personal.
I was about to say
it's because you're going to go to Felician, and we just got off the phone with who's going to be a new teammate. He used to be a competitor, Danny from Payne Tech.
Yeah.
And
my man.
see, and you're going to be playing with a bunch of people that you've played with, that you're familiar with, and that may be a better situation for you. With Nas Amos, like you said, Hadi Jenkins, that's also at Eastside. You played against Kayan, who also went to Eastside his freshman year. So you're going into a level, not a school where and you're comfortable with people, and I think you can compete at that level and get major minutes.
So I got a question for you. It's a lot of people, a lot of players over there at Felician right now. Everybody's kind of fighting for minutes. What do you think that you bring to the basketball program at Felician that's going to separate you from everyone else?
The fact that I could do everything, no matter what it is. Like, no matter what situation I come into, I always, whatever situation, I find what I could do, and then I just do it at the highest level. Just like I came into high school freshman year, so I wasn't going to try to score 30. That wasn't me. I had a whole bunch of bucket getters around me. So for me to play and get on the court and be exposed to anybody, I had to get on the court. So what I did was I just became a rebounder. I averaged like 15 rebounds and like 3 points my freshman year. That's just how it was. So at Felician, if I walk on the court and the coach say, yo, Mike, we need you to put up 15. I'll put up 15. He said, yo, Mike, we need you to get three steals and like 10, 11 rebounds. That's what I'm going to do. If you need a couple of charges, I'll take some charges. If you need a defensive stopper and go lock down a player that's averaging 30, then I'm going to just go have to do that. It's no matter what it is, I can develop in any role. So I think that's what separates me from everybody else is I'm not stagnant. Like, I can't just do one thing if you need other things done.
Okay, and I'm glad that you said that because I've spoken to you a couple times just as a coach, but we don't have like a real personal relationship. But me as a coach, I want to see what's best for every kid that's in Essex County when it comes to basketball, right? So you spoke about growth. Freshman year, you say you might have averaged 3 to 4 points, but you probably averaged about 15 rebounds. Till now, last year, you were Eastside's leading scorer and rebounder, correct?
Yeah.
So now, and I did, when we played y'all the 2 times, I did scouting reports, against you, Nas Johnson. And with me, I said he's a tweener. Is he a guard? Is he a forward? Right? So that's a lot of people's, what are you, right? So now in college, what do you think you have to work on to solidify your actual position? Are you going to be a shooting guard, a slashing wing? Are you going to be an undersized power forward, or are you going to be a small forward? Because you can be either or. You could be 2 to 3 or to 4. So what do you think you have to work on? And what do you think is the biggest thing you have to work on to see time on the floor in college?
The biggest thing is keeping my shooting consistent. I've had games where I went 6 for 6, and then I had games where I went from 7 to 8, and that could have been like a 3-game span. Like just stay consistent being a shooter, and also just getting my handle right. I could bring the ball up without somebody stealing it from me, but to like bring it up, then twin legs to blow by my first defender to create more space for everybody else, and then dish it out to people. That's I gotta work on that a little bit more.
Hey man, I'm T-Rod probably gonna ask you another question, but just your answers, right? And like I said, we don't have like a personal relationship but we'll probably grow because I come to Felician and watch games, and now you're not you were an enemy before. I wanted to beat you, and we never did, right? But just your answers right there shows me that you're in depth with your game. You're like, yourself, because to me, one of the biggest flaws was, can he get the ball and, get up the court, speed up the court? Yes. Can he get it and create, ISO create for himself? Not consistently, in my opinion. That was our game plan, was to try to make you to create. And I'm not saying that I know everything when it comes to basketball, but for you to just come and actually say the same thing that I scouted, in my eyes, that shows me that you're kind of like in depth with your game. You know your game, you know yourself, you know what you have to do or work on, and you know what you do best, which is, in my opinion, is rebounding. Because like you guys, I think your freshman year, y'all had Hottie, y'all had Nas, y'all had Mir. Did you have? Yeah, you had Elijah. Yeah, so y'all had a lot of players, and you did what you had to do with that team. Y'all was super deep, and I think y'all lost to Linden that year, right?
Yeah.
In the States, and which in a game, my engineer's from Linden, but in a game where I think y'all played at Linden, and I honestly believe that y'all got cheated in that game. But shout out to Calicchio. But to me, I just it's a lot of players at this age, from 14 to 18. They want to go be the person who averaged 30 and get all the spotlight. And it seems that you're a kid who you just want to get on the floor and do whatever it takes to win. And that's I just want to say salute to you for that.
Thank you.
I have one more question for you. So Eastside is known as basically the powerhouse of Newark Public School basketball.
I hate them.
So what I want to know is, how has Newark Eastside prepared you for the college level?
Because one, from high school and then to college, when everybody has discussions, there's one thing that sticks out in the discussion, and that's defense. Mm-hmm. Nobody can have a discussion about high school basketball, college basketball without saying defense is one of the things that will stay consistent through your whole life, because you have to play defense. So Eastside basically preached defense all the way through, knowing that we usually had a good core around us, that offensively we all was talented, but the defensive side basically brought us together. So like me transitioning to college and what they showed me, like basically I just take away like the defensive part of it and just stick with it, knowing that in college it's gonna be the same thing, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna stick with.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, so last question, we're gonna ask every player that we're calling up today. During the pandemic, it's obvious, you can't get in the gym, you can't work out on your game. What have you been doing to fine-tune your game or fine-tune yourself, knowing that it's a major step going from high school to college, regardless of what level you're on?
I've just been like home workouts, push-up, stuff like that, which I think everybody should be doing, especially athletes, just home workouts, going out for runs, finding like people I know, they got basketball hoops in their backyard, just going on a basketball hoop, shooting and stuff like that. So I've been out, but I've done it more like a traditional way without the actual gym.
Okay.
Nice. Well, from me and T-Rob, I want to say congratulations on a stellar career in high school, even though y'all beat us 3 times.
He's salty about that.
Yeah, I definitely am, right? Because as a coach, you want to beat the best, and Eastside was the best public school in Newark the last 4 to 5 years, and probably longer than that. But congratulations on a stellar high school career. Congratulations on your commitment, and wishing you much luck at the next level.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for letting us call you too.
Congrats again.
No problem. Thank you.
You know Cheese gonna call you, right?
But you know what? Cheese is my man, and Westside did a lot of great things because I wanted to beat them too, right? But at the end of the day, they won the Christmas tournament 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
They probably were ranked all 4 years Michael was there, higher than Westside. And even though Westside and Eastside played each other a lot, and they had battles back and forth. Yeah. And Westside actually won. They were Group 2. Eastside was Group 4. Like, there was no Lindens that Westside had to run into in the States.
I got you.
And Colicchio probably is, no, it's not even probably. He's definitely a top 3 coach in the state right now. Pretty much at any time that he's coached, he's definitely one of the best coaches in the state of New Jersey. So, I think Eastside had a hard time just running into Linden every single year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was always tough.
All right, this one's gonna be a good one.
She's still gonna call you though.
That's if he watch. We don't know if he watch. I mean, hopefully he do watch. But this one gonna be a good one. Hello, sir. This is Coach Chuck from the Clipboard Podcast. How you doing?
What's up?
What, you sleep?
He mad cool.
Now, I don't even want to gas him up, though, but you remind me of T-Rob. You too cool.
Sometimes it's a bit.
You know what? All right, so we got Zarik Nutter on the phone from the Patrick School / St. Benedict's / Central, right? And before, I got to throw a jab at you, right? But before I called you, I said this is gonna be a good one because I watched you since your freshman year. Your cousin Jamar Nutter, I damn near grew up with him. I played with him when we was like 11 years old. Yeah. And to me, you kind of embody him. Y'all got the same like swagger to your game, just demeanor. The same demeanor. It looked like you might not be trying hard, but it just comes effortless, right? We spoke and I told you what the phone call was going to be about. So I want to know.
Whoa! We're not gonna gas him.
No, because he came on the phone like a pimp.
No, that's crazy.
He came on the phone like a pimp. Yo, no, what's up? Well, gas him up then.
Chuck, this is what you do. Gas him up.
Okay, man. Let me see. I'm gonna gas Zarik. I don't want to gas Zarik up, man.
Yo, why you don't want to gas?
All right, 1,000-point scorer at the Patrick School. Oh, you heard him? Yeah. See, that's why I ain't want to gas him up.
Gas him up.
1,000-point scorer. One of my guys originally with the firm. Then he played with the players. They also played with We Are One, played on every major circuit, produced on every major circuit, produced at a high level at St. Benedict's and at the Patrick School, who played on national schedules. My guy Zarik Nutter, man. Hope all is well, right? But I had to look at him, I want to know how your recruitment process went because, we talk, but not very, very often. When I see you, we talk. But I was in tune with your process, and I would go on, 247 or ESPN, whatever, and and look to see who was recruiting you. And I want you to give an in-depth analysis on like how your recruiting process started, like what schools were recruiting you, and what ultimately led to you going to St. Peter's.
The recruiting process for me was like kind of up and down, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. A couple schools, because when I was a freshman, sophomore, my junior year, going into the end of my junior year, I got my first offer, and it was from Coppin State, and then I got another one from St. Peter's, but St. Peter's never thought they was gonna give me because the talent, the talent that they see and things like that. But I always told them you never know what can happen because just because I have the high major offer and mid major or whatever, anything can happen, and that's what happened. I ended up going to St. Peter's in the end.
Okay, yeah. So you said the high majors, the mid majors. When I would go on 247, I would see schools. I saw Maryland. I saw TCU. What was another school? I think I want to say Rutgers or maybe Seton Hall. Or it was another Jersey school, I believe. Right, but I seen a lot of interest from high majors and mid majors, like you said. What ultimately led to you choosing St. Peter's over, let's say, a Maryland, which is a Big Ten school, compared to St. Peter's, which is a smaller school?
The St. Peter's decision was kind of like off of like the relationship with the coach. Like me and Shaheen has a close relationship.
Okay.
I never really got to build the relationship with like other coaches, like how me and him has a great relationship. But I feel like St. Peter's was the best decision for me at the moment, and me and my family, and going forward with my basketball career. So that's why I chose St. Peter's.
Okay.
I got a question. Do you think the pandemic played a part in that, or it was always been that way with as far as the relationship with other coaches?
The pandemic definitely played a part in it, I feel like, and like the whole transfer portal thing that was going on. So yeah, that's what that most definitely played a part, and like me going to St. Peter.
Can I be 100% honest with you?
You could.
Okay. I see Maryland, I see TCU, and do I think you could have touched the floor there? Yeah. But I think at St. Peter's, with, like you said, with Shaheen Holloway, who was a New Jersey legend himself, I think you can dominate at that level. You understand what I'm saying? I think you can produce at Maryland, but I think you can go to St. Peter's and dominate. And, you know, one of my biggest things with you, and you know how I am, I always keep it 100%. Me and your mom have had discussions. I've talked to Nutter about you. When I first seen you, you was about 6'2". And I ultimately thought you was going to be like a 6'3" point guard. You know, and I wanted to, you know, probably work with you and work on some point guard skills, because a lot of people don't realize it's more than skill with that. You got to have what's the word I'm looking?
You gotta have a feel for the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's something you gotta play with. You can't just learn that. You have to play. Experience builds that. But then you kept growing, and you became a 6'6" wing, and you went from somebody who I thought had the utmost potential, because long arms, great defender, and
athletic.
Yeah, he got more athletic as he got older. And that's
some nice dunks in games we went to.
Hey, Zarik, do you remember when you played for the firm and you would never dunk, and I would always talk like, yo, why aren't you dunking the ball?
Because I couldn't dunk the ball.
You was 6'2". I don't want to hear none of that. You should have been able to, and I believe you. Listen, I think you could dunk, and I just didn't think you believed in it.
I was dunking at 6'2".
So, but
yeah, I'll say that I didn't believe that I couldn't dunk.
Okay. I mean, so, you know, for example, rewind to EYBL. I believe it was the Indianapolis session when you played with the players, and it was a play where, you know, I forget who passed you the ball, and you came down the middle and you dunked on somebody.
Ooh.
Like when you you said what?
I remember. I know what you're talking about. We was playing New York Lightning.
Yeah, you're definitely right. We definitely was playing the Lightning with that guard. And me and Mark, if you go back and watch the camera, me and Mark both jumped up. And I was so excited, not because of the play, but because I always thought you had that in your game. Mm-hmm. And I was I was so happy to see you actually, you know, you was like a little cub at one point. Now you're starting to become a lion. Understand what I'm saying? So besides, you know, the mindset, because like you said, you didn't believe you could do it. What else do you think you have to work on as far as your game is concerned to become a more well-rounded player? Because right now, in my eyes, and I may be wrong, you may think totally different than me, I think you're an elite defender. I think you're a well-rounded slasher. So what do you think your strong points are, and what do you think you need to work on to become a more well-rounded player?
I need to work on shooting, creating my own shot, and being more vocal, because sometimes I could be like quiet, and being vocal could like help others on the floor as well as yourself, keeping yourself in the game when you feel like you're playing bad, and et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like my strong points in the game is like basically, like you said, defending, doing all the little things that count that others don't do.
Okay.
So I want to say something to you, because I've been to quite a few of your games. You know, we've been checking you out all season pretty much. You have a certain aura about you that your teammates look to you. You may not notice it or not, but they look to you. So my advice to you as far as the vocal part, just say what you feel, because they're listening and they're looking to you to lead. So if you want to lead, it's there for you. It's going to be the same in college. Some people just have that natural aura that people just want to follow, and you have that. So if you want to lead, all you got to do is just start saying what you want or saying what you see, and people are going to listen.
Sure.
I think one thing that I've seen, right, and I always wanted to know, and it's not a lot of players who's had the experiences that you've had. You know, you went to Central, and Coach OG, who we had on the show, got the opportunity to do best shots. And you were a young kid, and you were in the public eye because they was following you around with the camera and things like that. But you played with some good players. You played with DM McCray, who wound up at Felician, and we ain't named him the last time. That's crazy. But you played with DM McCray, who was at Felician. Then you transferred to St. Benedict's, and you wound up playing with CJ Wilcher, who's going to Xavier. I think you played with the kid that he just left St. Peter's, and he's going to Oregon. Yeah, you play with Aaron Estrada, and then you go to the Patrick School, and now you play with Noah Farrakhan, who's going to East Carolina, and you play with Jonathan Kuminga, who was the #1 junior in the country, and I think he may reclass up and choose whatever school he wants to go to. How was the experience to go, playing with somebody like DM, who's more local, and a good player, but local, doesn't have the public fanfare? Then to go play with CJ, who people know one of the best shooters in the state. Well, no, in my opinion, the best shooter in the state, one of the best shooters in the country. To go play with somebody like Noah Farrakhan, who basically is a celebrity, and then play with Kuminga, who everywhere you go, there's somebody at overtime, ball is life. How was it playing in those in that environment?
I enjoy playing with DM because, like, as you know, like, we both from North, we both got like the same mindset, like the dog mindset, and like just go out and get it and play. And I feel like we both we knew each other well, playing with each other. Like, I knew when he wanted the ball, he knew when I wanted the ball, type of thing. And like CJ been my boy since 5th, 6th grade, so I played with him. Like, chemistry was kind of there already with him. And Noah, same thing. Me, him, and CJ was on the same team in like 7th, 8th grade, and like, so I already knew like his strengths and weaknesses. And JK, it was well playing with him. Like, he motivated me, like, because before like he came, like, I would go to practice and like not stay after practice and shoot around. But when he came, he motivated me like yo, Reek, you gotta get your family to the league. You gotta do this, put an extra shot, and do this and that. So like, me and his relationship was well because like I like that. Like, nobody ever, like, out of all the teams I played in, nobody ever told me like, yo, stay behind. This was gonna get you here. This is gonna get you there. So like, playing with JK was like kind of like a gift and a curse. I think so.
All right, I got a kind of like a follow-up question for that. So you've been to these different high schools. You played with different levels of players. What do you think who was your biggest challenge to play against? And who was your biggest challenge to play with? So what was the biggest opponent you played against that gave you the most fits? And who was the hardest teammate to play with?
Like, as hardest teammate, like, what do you mean by hardest teammate?
Like, as far as your games, like, our games might not have meshed well, so you had to try to figure out how you can get your game off while he still get his game off, like how, like that type of situation.
Definitely, I gotta see.
Smart man. He tried to pin you in the corner, man.
I did.
Hey,
I gotta test the clips.
I don't really have no issue with nobody I ever played with, honestly.
But don't duck the other part of the question.
Yeah, so who gave you the most trouble? Fits?
Yeah, who gave you the most trouble that you had to guard?
Oh, probably Scotty Barnes. Like, we talking about like on my team or like
no. On any team,
somebody that you had to match up against.
Probably Scotty Barnes, yeah.
Why did he give you so much trouble? I mean, Scotty Barnes, everybody know he's nationally ranked. Going to Florida State, right?
Yeah.
So why did he give you so much trouble?
Because, like, as you know, if you ever saw Scotty play, like, his energy, like, it's like his motor never stops. Like, I feel like I just wasn't like prepared for his motor. Like, his motor never stops. He's strong, very athletic, and can do everything on the floor. But for the most, but I didn't back down. But like, I just feel like he was just different. Like, I never saw like somebody like him before.
Okay.
Like, he's good. He's nice.
Okay, so it was funny, right? I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, but it's funny because your mom posted a video, and I don't know how old you was in the video on Facebook.
Yeah, I seen a video
when Nutter had. I think y'all was at Seton Hall.
Yep, Seton Hall.
And you were trying to scorn him,
and
he was pushing you around, and looked like you was about to cry, right? But you were a young kid.
Nah.
Yeah, no, you was about to cry. Yeah, you was about to cry.
We seen it. We seen the video. Videos don't lie.
Right? But, you know, me and you have had talks during maybe face-to-face, maybe even on Instagram. And I'm going to fast forward from that video to the game where you guys play Sharif Cooper and McKeechin at EO campus. And the way that you and Noah individually, because, you know, they started booing you guys. And you two, you know, Kaminga didn't play that game, right?
Got it right either.
So you two were the two home guys, and even though Sharif Cooper's from here, you know, he played in Georgia, and they started to boo you guys, and it was one moment where you looked at me in the crowd and said, "Yo, why your man bugging?" Right? And before, to me, in my opinion, I think you might have got rattled by that a little bit, but now it's just like it didn't bother you at all. So my question to you is, I seen St. Peter's recruitment, and you know Aaron Estrada left, but they still got the Drame twins there, the 266 guard that was on Kaminga team the year before, and they're pretty good. So when you go in there, are you going in there, you know, to earn a starting spot, or are you going in there just trying to, you know, fit in and do what's best for the team?
No, I'm definitely going in there to earn a starting spot. I'm going in there like with a different mindset. Like me and my mom, like my cousin Jamar, we already had the conversation. I told him like I'm going in there to stand out like from everybody else, including teammates, the opponent team, like anybody we play against. I'm there to stand out. Like I don't want to be equal to nobody this season. Like I don't want it to be a debate like, oh, he's the best player on the team. No, he's the best player. I want people to be like, he's the best player on the team. Like no question. Like that's how I'm going in there.
Okay, like so now for you to be the best player on the team, you already said it. Well, but during the pandemic, right? Because you said you had to work on your shooting and basically how to create shots. What have you been working on during the pandemic? Obviously, we can't get to a gym or anything like that. How have you been working on yourself, knowing that even though you played at a high level, you played on all circuits and you played at Benedict and Patrick School, what are you doing to get ready for college?
Recently, well, not even recently, but like lately, knowing that we don't have a basketball like rim or gyms or anything, me and my mom just been running. I'll run at like 10 because she'll be at work, and then when she get off at 4, we'll go running again. So I run twice, do some push-ups just to try and stay in shape, like during all this. So when it's time to go, I can be ready to go, not be tired and sluggish.
Okay. Well, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. I want to say congratulations on a stellar high school career, 1,000-point scorer. Won at almost every level. You know, Central went to the rack. Benedict's won a lot of games. Patrick School, y'all won a lot of games. Well, people thought y'all could have been better, but I understand the dynamic of playing in that environment.
That national schedule different.
But from me to you, I want to say I'm super proud of you because I'm one of the people, not that I doubted you, but I always wanted to see more from you. I always thought you had a lot of potential as far as what you could do and what you could get better at. And, you know, you're way more mature. I can see your body is filling out pause and you're just working on your game. And, you know, I said pause, though. I said pause. Right? But you working on your game, and it's just from the conversation, it sounds like your mindset is right. So, you know, I want to say I'm proud of you. Congratulations. And besides that, I need some St. Peter's shorts and maybe like a practice jersey or something like that. So don't forget me, even though I know you got to go to Rod Nork and Bub and all them. I need some shorts.
You got appreciate it, though.
All right, no problem. Thanks for all in this interview.
Anytime.
Man, congratulations again.
Thank you.
We got one more person to speak to, but he had some things going on with his college. So I'm gonna actually let me text him first and see. What do you think about the high school interviews so far with the kids? Like, what's the biggest thing that you've taken apart?
All the guys that came on has been very mature. The thing that stood out to me the most is that they all seem to know their game. Okay. You know, a lot of players, they don't really fully understand their game. And, you know, we've seen all these players, so we kind of already have an idea of what they can do, what they need to work on. and they all understand that already. So that was a huge point for me. A lot of players think they're this type of player when they're really this type of player. They might think they LeBron James, but they're really Danny Green. So, for them to understand that at this stage in the game is huge for them. Because a lot of people in college, they're going in with a different mindset, not fully understanding what they're capable of doing. But these kids understand that. And another big part about it is that they know their weaknesses. That's really, really important because now they know what they should be working on. Instead of going in the gym doing 20 million different drills, that's not what they need. They go in the gym and they work on specific things that's going to improve their game.
Yeah, like especially somebody like Micah, I like to highlight him just because like when we played them, I really scouted him and I'm like, yo, if he's going right, he's going straight to the rim. If he goes left, it's a 2-dribble pull-up, and then you got to box him out because he high motor, he's going to get a rebound, whatever I want to say. Make him put the ball on the floor. Beat him to that spot when he going to the left side because he's going for the pull-up. If you beat him there, let's see if he can create. And when I asked him what his weaknesses was, he said, ball handling, creating shots, and shooting. And those were the things that I highlighted when I scouted him. So not to say that, like I know it all, but it's just like, all right, cool. He know what he need to work on. One of the things that I took away from it, and it had nothing to really do with basketball. It was more so that these kids knew how to articulate themselves. You know what I mean? Because maybe Zarik is somebody who's been in the spotlight because of best shot and then playing at Benedict's and then playing at because I think Benedict was trying to do like a best shot too, and then playing at Patrick School when you playing with the #1 junior in the country, you playing with Noah Farrakhan who got like 1,000,000 followers on Instagram. He was always in the spotlight. But for Danny and Micah, their roles were similar because coming into it, Micah was a role player at Eastside. Coming in Bloomfield Tech. When we first got Danny, he was the tallest person on the team, but he needed to get stronger. He came from a charter school where they just weren't good. He didn't get the development, and they came from being role players to ultimately both being probably the best player on both of their teams. And, when you're a role player, you don't get the opportunity to do interviews. Like, even when Eastside was winning, they were probably talking to Nas Amos, Hottie Jenkins, Elijah. Who else was there? Damn. Oh, Mir. So he probably Nas Johnson. He didn't get the chance to to be in the forefront. Danny played behind Kayan, who damn near was averaging 17 and 12. And then he played behind Galloway, who was probably, in my opinion, the most well-rounded guard in Essex County. Then Kyle was a human highlight film on a high school level, windmilling everywhere. Nobody really went to speak to Danny after the game. So this might have been their first time really on a public platform talking about themselves, and I think they all did well in that aspect. So that's a shout out to their families. That's a shout out to their schools, because if you really look at it, I don't know how good of a school Eastside is, but I know Bloomfield Tech and / Payne Tech, they hold academics to a high standard. Like I know that for a fact. Trust me. Central might not be the best educational school. I don't know. I'm not dissing them. I really don't know. But then he went to Benedict's, where I went, and I know they have a high regard on academics. So these kids and their parents did a good job on raising them, and they could have came on here and just been super conceited. I don't need to work on nothing. Like I'm good. This is why I got the scholarship, whatever. Yeah. But they knew how to articulate themselves, and I don't think we really stumped them. You almost got Zarik. Yeah. You almost got him.
No, I almost got him and I got Danny, but you saved them both.
Danny brought that game up. He said it himself.
But you saved them first. You came in and put your arm around him like the big brother. That's what you did.
Nah. So unfortunately, our last guest is not going to be able to talk, and I'll just say who it is. It's his name is Miles Roof. Went to Don Bosco Prep, formerly went to Linden High. Before that, I had the pleasure of coaching him in AAU when I coached the 16s, which was sophomores going to their junior year, but he was a freshman playing up, and we went to Vegas, and when I started coaching, I loved him immediately. He did everything. He played defense. He knew how to play the pick and roll. He come off the pick and roll, keep the guard on his hip, had the mid-range jump shot. If he wanted to, he'll stop on a dime, make you foul him. He can pass the ball. His biggest thing was he was just slim. And he was still growing. So he was probably like 5'10", 5'11", but he was real thin and not the most athletic. And going towards, the end of the season, I wasn't hearing anything as in regards to where he was going to school. Okay. Which was kind of scaring me, you know, because I like the kid.
Yeah.
To be honest, shit, when Linden closed, I called his mom. Hey man, like you could bring him to Bloomfield Tech, and no. What closed first? No, it wasn't. He went from somewhere to Linden. He went somewhere first. Yeah, there you go. He went to St. Anthony as a freshman, and then they closed. And that's when I said, hey, I gotta get him. And she said, she's like, yeah, I like the way you coach. We gonna think about it, but we talking to Phil Colicchio right there. And she can tell you, as soon as she said it, I said, yo, send him there. Because he can do much more for Miles than I can, just based off his connections and who he is.
Exactly.
So, and when he was leaving Linden, because Linden closed, I called again. Hey, like, I'm still here. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm just happy for the kid. He's going to Monmouth University. He's actually on a Zoom call with Monmouth right now, and that's why he can't come to can't do the podcast. But I like that kid a lot. And, you know, him and actually, to bring it back to the firm, him and Zarik were actually on the same team.
Oh.
And I'm gonna throw a shot at Zarik mom, because when we went to Vegas, I tried to get Zarik to come too, because what happened was the 16s, a lot of them disbanded. I had maybe 6 players, maybe 7, 6. No, I had 6 players that was from the 16s, and other people left because they didn't like the former coach, whatever. Yeah. And then I took over. I only had 6 players, and we was going to Vegas. It was my first time actually coaching at that level of the playing on a circuit. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna need more than 6 players to go out there. So I spoke to Mark. I said, yo, I want Miles Roof. He said, all right. Spoke to his mom. We got it done. Even though he did something goofy, I'm gonna tell you what he did. It's something super goofy. He cost Mark a lot of money, right? But I wanted Zarik. Yeah. I said, all right, well, shit, I can get Miles and Zarik. I got 2 guards. Or, you know, I looked at Zarik more so like a swing, a wing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he couldn't come. It was his fault though. He had summer school. But we was leaving right when it was ending. So I'm like, yo, they can just give him the work. He bring it back. He only gonna miss 3 days. She like, hell no.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so Miss Miami. Be mad at her. No, I'm mad.
What are you mad for? You should be mad at Zarik, not at
no, him too. Shit. Right? But I wound up taking Gio, who actually goes to the Patrick School, and he goes to plays on the national team. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Gio. But they call a national team. The prep team is called the national team. Okay. So shout out to Gio. As far as Miles did, we was at the airport, right? And obviously the kids don't have ID like that at 14, 15, maybe 16. You might get your permit or something. You might have an early birthday, get your license. But he didn't. He was a freshman. So what teams do is, whatever their team is supposed to be, they send that in for flight information. Yeah. So as I told you, we had probably 10 players before, and some of them left. So it was too late to cancel those tickets, get the money back, and then put tickets in this kid's name. So what you do is you just say, yo, when you go up there, say your name is such and such. Yeah. Because they're not going to check your ID.
Yeah, because you don't have ID.
So they checking stuff. Yo, your name is Terrell Robinson? No, I'm Miles Roof. Now they done took him in the back. They checking security, and you know, Mark a solid dude. This is why I always rock with Mark. Now he wound up having to come out of pocket. He had to cancel that ticket, no refund, and buy the kid a new ticket to go to. I think we was going to Vegas. We was going to Vegas, and it was like $1,000 or $1,200 or some shit like that. And Mark paid it for the kid, not to put his financial shit out there.
Shout out to Mark.
But he paid it for the kid, and it wound up being a good experience for him, So, and salute to Miles, man. Congratulations on going to Monmouth. I spoke to your mom probably 2 weeks ago. She's super excited. I honestly thought, like Zarik, he could have been like a mid-major kid. But, he's still a little thin, and he needs to get a little more athletic. But I'm kind of looking at him like Kyle Lofton. He go to St. Bonaventure's. Yeah. And
I've been following him. He's been doing this thing.
Back in the day when he was in high school, and maybe I was biased because he played for the firm, but when he was in high school, I was calling him the most underrated player in New Jersey because he didn't have anything at one point.
That's how I started following him. You was talking about him. I'm like, let me follow this kid, see what's going on with him. Chuck always gassing him up.
Yeah, so, I mean, he proved it, though. We go to Vegas, that same trip. He was on the same trip, and we played Zion Williamson team that game. And he had Devin Dotson. I think his first name is Devin, but that kid goes to Kansas. So it was Zion Williamson and a point guard from Kansas. And you know, we had a real young team. We had Big Cliff. He was a freshman.
Was John Moran on that team?
No. That was when they were super young. They were before high school.
Okay.
Or if it was early year high school. I don't think it was that.
Okay.
But we had Cliff was a freshman. CJ was a freshman.
Yeah.
Riri was a junior going into his senior year. But we had a lot of underclassmen. And we beat them. We actually beat them. And it was Coach K there. Roy Williams was there. Coach Cal, any coach you can name, because Zion Williamson is playing, and this before he committed. And the other kid went to Kansas. Bill Self was there, and Riri dominated that matchup. I think Riri might have had like 29 and like 11 assists, 4 steals, or something crazy.
Talk to me nice.
And I kind of see Miles doing the same thing. I kind of see him being somebody that was underrated, you know. And now when he goes to this school, Monmouth, he's like Riri was the rookie of the year in the St. Bonaventure's conference. He was just first team all conference this year. And I can see Miles doing that same thing because I really think they're a little bit above that pay grade.
Definitely. I agree to that as well.
So anything else you want to talk about before we because Rico over there eating, he didn't even give us the time limit today.
I'm hungry, so because he over there eating the sandwich, I'm trying to get something to eat. I'm good.
So unfortunately, like I said, we couldn't get the interview with Miles, but I think today was a real good episode.
Rico let us rock out. He ain't cut us off.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But like one of the reasons we did this podcast, and a lot of people, I said it before, I'm gonna keep saying it so people get it, was for the kids. You know, we could talk about the summer league, the pro-ams. We could talk about NBA players,
overseas.
But at the end of the day, it's for Essex County kids because they don't really get the publication. You know, they don't get that outlet to really put them out there because a lot of people might not know who Danny is. A lot of people might not know who Micah Johnson is. Yeah. So just to get them, a little bit of publicity, and that's what we did it for, and we're going to keep bringing high school kids up here. It just got to make sense. Definitely. So I want to shout out to all the high school kids who came up here.
Man. Make sure school first, man. Get those grades right. You don't want to not be able to go on the trip because you got to go to summer school.
Fuck that trip. You don't want to not be able to get a scholarship and not go to college and have to go JUCO or have to do another year high school. So get those grades right.
Grades first.
And then, basketball second, you know what I mean? And then this is a big thing. Before we go, the coaches episode, Coach Bashir Mason from Wagner was saying they have somebody on that social media. Get your social media right, man.
Yes.
While y'all, especially in the pandemic, I see a lot of y'all middle fingers in y'all pictures and whatever the case may be. And the first thing I do when I see is I DM you, hey, delete that. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you hurting yourself from getting a scholarship or whatever the case may be, because you could do it. So besides that, man, everybody stay safe. Thanks for watching another episode of the Clipboard. And I was about to say we're out, but nah, I'll holler at y'all later.
We out, fellas. Hey, my